All right, so today I'm going to show you how to trim your own hair during quarantine. What we want to do is shampoo and condition our hair very well prior to, and make sure you have some nice tools. So I have a pretty long cutting comb. You also may want to have your comb out comb. So first, comb all the tangles out of your hair. Use on some leave-on conditioner. I happen to have the Nutriplenish leave-in conditioner, which is amazing. You could even use it on the days in between your shampoos to keep your hair healthy, shiny, and fresh. And since my hair is pretty much long with no layers, just except for a little face framing, this will be a fairly straightforward tutorial. So first we want to divide the hair straight down the middle. And then I also want to divide it straight down the back. So pretend that you're going to be doing pigtails and just part your hair straight down the middle all the way through to the back. So you have two halves of your hair divided. Now I've cut my hair myself at home several times over the course of many years. And it's not always perfect, but it'll definitely hold you over until you can get in to see your stylist. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to keep combing it down so I know that all the hair from inside around the ears, everything is coming down to the same point. So you may even want to flip your comb around and use the finer teeth to make sure you get all those little fine hairs down. So what you'll start to see here is there's a bit of a line. And I know that my back piece is over here. My front piece is here. And I'm just going to kind of keep my head tilted at a bit of an angle. I have some fairly good shears. You can use fabric shears, would probably be the closest, or if you have any type of manicuring shears, or maybe even if you have shears, from the beauty supply, that would be the best bet. So what I'm going to do is I want to keep my hair angled more towards the front. I'm taking off a little more than I should, but that's okay because I've got a good month in quarantine left. And I know that because I'm over directing this back piece to the front, that when I put it back to the center, it is actually going to be, I want it to be the same all the way across. So because it's over directed, I'm going a little shorter and then keeping the front more of my intended length. So I'm just going to look at that edge and just freehand it. And then here in front, you could kind of see that I've got a bit of an angle going in that direction. So I'm going to lay that over and tilt my head somewhat forward so I can really go upward from that bottom piece to the front. Now again, I'm not going to try anything drastic. Sorry about the clearing in the throat, it's habit. And I'm going to repeat on this side. So from here, I'm going to start from the front piece and move to the back. And I'm just taking note about how much I took off the other side. So I'm going for about 1 inch. Okay, so now I've got the two halves, and you could kind of just measure them against your clothing. And I could kind of tell that this side's a little bit longer. So I'm just going to go through that again and come up a little bit more. Okay. And then I might disappear here in my hair a little bit. I've got my angle from the front, and I'm going to tilt forward and just come up from the bottom and try and catch those random bits. Okay. So now I'm going to comb everything forward like Cousin It, for those of you that remember that TV show. And I'm going to take this centerpiece and bring it all the way forward. And now in this case, I am going to hold this in my hands. And I'm just going to kind of gather it together, separate out the rest of the hair. And for this part of the cut, I'm going to be looking at the hair from underneath. I'm not going to be trying to look through the mirror because I won't be able to see myself because I'm bringing the hair forward. So I'm just going to be looking at my hair from underneath. And then I'm going to just go across, and I'm doing a little bit of a point angle so things stay a little bit less solid. And then from there, we're going to divide that back. And now I have a guide to match. So from here, again, I'm going to be looking from within. So I'm looking on the inside of the hair as I'm cutting. And I'm just going to be blending that to the two center pieces. So I'm looking, you might have a better angle here. I'm looking from inside the hair and just trimming up to my point. Now, if my son were here in the room, I would have him check the back for me. And he's done this plenty of times. I have a little bit of a chunk there. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to kind of manicure it into the angle. The idea is that you just want things to blend. You don't want to end up with, you know, any chunky unevenness, because that's how we really know you cut your hair at home, is when it doesn't blend. Okay, so I think I taught my son at a very young age how to cut a straight line across the back, and he's actually very good at it. So your husband, your sister, your brother, or whoever you have at home that could now at this point come into wherever you're cutting your hair, and you're just going to bring everything to the back now and ask them to comb it straight down. And then just check the center where the two parts connect. I think mine probably has a little tail there, but I'll have my son look at that later. And you could just kind of make sure that both your sides match. It's really hard to do layers on your hair, especially with this long of hair, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to hold it up where it needs to go. So if I wanted more layers, each section that you have moving back, you're going to drag it forward. And whatever you did along the perimeter down and through here, everything that you drag more forward into that perimeter will create layers in the back. Me personally, I like to have more of a solid one length. So I'm just going to keep the back in the back and cut it on the bottom. And then what falls in front, make sure that I do that angle there. Now, if I had bangs, bangs are really challenging. I don't recommend we trim our bangs it never turns out the way we expect it, but I'll give you a few pointers. When you pull your hair back, you're going to see that you have a natural recession line. That's where your hair goes from more forward in the center to more receding in the sides. A good marker for this is the arch of your brow. So if you go straight up from your brow, you'll see your natural recession line. You do not want to go past that line when you're sectioning for bangs. So bangs are typically recession to recession. And you don't want to go deeper than perhaps an inch. So if I were to do bangs, I'm going to section it out, recession to recession, and no more than an inch in depth. Everything else will be combed out of the way. You could tuck it behind your ears. If you have some clips, you can use clips. You could even braid it, put it in a ponytail so you make sure that you don't gather any of the other hair. And we're going to just gather it together and we're going to pinch it. And you want to figure out where you want your ending point to be. So if I want my bangs to fall right between my eyebrows, right at my eye level, I want to cut it at least a ½ inch longer. So the straighter the hair, the shorter of distance that you need to kind of have as your buffer. The curlier the hair, the bigger the distance. So my hair is pretty fine, but it does have a lot of fluff to it. So as it dries, it gets really fluffy and billowy. So I'm going to leave, I'm not going to cut my bangs, but I'm going to show you. I would leave a good ½ inch to an inch of buffer. So let's say I want them to end right at my eyelash level. Then I'm going to hold it down, and wherever that inch buffer is, that will be my cutting line. So if I just want to have a straight across, you're going to pinch it together and just cut it straight across. If I want it to be more bowed and angled longer towards the center, towards the edges, you're going to pull it together and you're going to twist it twice. And then you're going to cut it straight across. And when you release that, you're going to get a natural bowing. If I wanted it to side sweep to the side, then I would want to cut it at an angle over at the side. So again, drop it to your buffer point, drag it to the side, and then cut it at an angle. So it's going from shorter to longer. And if you wear it on this side, you would just do the opposite on that side. If you wanted to create a little more texture in your bangs, once you do cut that line, then hold it up here and kind of go in and texturize it as you lift it. And that'll create a little more layering on the back half of the bang. Okay, so that is how to shape your own hair at home and how to create bangs. And be careful out there. Don't overcut and always leave a buffer zone. Always start longer than you intend to because you never know, you might have to make corrections. And get a good pair of shears, something that's sharp. If you don't have anything and you want to go purchase just regular cutting shears, use them when they're freshly new. Don't cut paper with them. Don't cut cardboard with them. Leave them exclusively for cutting hair. And I hope that helps you. Have a great day. Be safe. I miss you guys. If you need anything, reach out, blissful@nirvanasalon.com. Thank you.